Hello, everybody. Say hi to me in the chat if you can hear me and see me well. I'm in Barcelona at the moment. Let me know where you are. I see somebody typing. Yeah, just to make sure everybody can see me well, hear me well. We'll wait a few more minutes, okay, to see if more people will join. Colorado, USA, nice. I'm in Barcelona, in Spain, far away from the United States. Germany, that's close. What about the others? USA as well, Cincinnati, India. Wow, nice. UK, perfect. Good. Is this your first Designlab webinar or you've been attending others? See more people typing. Dallas. Nice, perfect. Is this your first Designlab webinar or you've been attending others? Just to do a little bit of chit chat while we wait a little bit, okay? Just 2 or 3 minutes more. My fourth webinar for Emma, great, perfect. All right, so we are using the chat to talk as we go. On the side of the chat, you see an icon that says questions, okay? If you have specific questions as we go through the presentation, through the webinar, add them there, okay? So we don't lose them in the chat, okay? Hi, Carrie. You've been in another webinar of mine then. Nice. Welcome back then. Chicago here, Gordana or Jordana, not sure how to pronounce it. Good. Okay. So maybe very slowly we can start while others will join. That should be okay. So yes, my name is Susana. I don't know if you been in one of others webinars. You can check them on the YouTube Designlab channel if you want, or attend the coming ones. I'm a senior UX designer. In the past years, I've been dedicated to teaching and mentoring UX designers, but I will introduce myself a little bit more in a minute, okay? And let me just do here the honors of the house, okay? So today, before we actually start, stay on mute. I think per default, everybody is muted, okay? You can ask as many questions as you want. I will try my best to answer all your questions. You already know it's better to use the questions icon, okay? On the chat, on the left side, you have questions, add them there, okay? So we don't lose them in the chat, as I was saying. This is a safe space, okay? Be respectful of others. Feel free to express your opinions, always with respect, okay? We should be good, I hope. Yeah. So for those who are not familiar with Designlab, Designlab is an online educational organization focused on helping new and established designers to build their careers in digital design. Okay, there are a lot of courses, also new courses coming up at Designlab. If you are interested in you can talk with our admissions team. Okay, just reach out, send an email. Okay. Good. I see more people here. Brooklyn, New Jersey, India. Great. Welcome, everybody. What time is it for you? For me, it's 7 p.m. in the afternoon. I guess we are all in different time zones, which is fun. Thanks to technology, no? So that's great. Perfect. So welcome, everybody. Let's kick start. The idea of this webinar is for you to get a little bit understanding of what is a case study, how to present it, and how it actually you will work in real life. Okay, so I did a while ago MVP while I was working in the company, and this is actually a case study I was taking to job interviews, and I thought it would be very interesting to share with you guys. I will do like a mix of explaining what I did, or what was happening, how many people, like the backstage, as well as you will walk through the presentation and see more or less the structure, because this is something all of you probably need to have done. Okay, when you go to a job interview, most likely they will ask you to present a case study or to present your portfolio. Okay, so and this is valid for juniors, midweight, seniors. Okay, it's very normal to have something prepared so you can talk and discuss. Okay, so you show how you think, how you solve things. Yeah. So while we go through this case study, which is real, so this happened. Okay, and at the end I will tell you what happened with the business in general. Okay, pay attention also to the structure, and the sequence of explanations and so on, because it could be helpful, or it can inspire you on how you present your own projects. A tip from me: when you go to a job interview, try to have a PDF or a keynote or some sort of presentation where you show your work instead of scrolling through your website. It's a bit more professional. You probably will use the screen to share things, so you want to walk things through. Okay, go back and forward, and I always recommend to have a PDF presentation or similar. Okay, you can also use Figma to build a presentation. Okay, so how we will go through this, very simple. I will just introduce myself a little bit for the ones that don't know me. I will walk you through the case study, explaining again the backstage of it, and walk you through the case study itself. And hopefully we have some time for Q&A. Again, this is a real project from a real company. Okay, so also understand or be curious about what is coming for you. Yeah, of course this is more at the senior level. Okay, but nevertheless it's going to be more or less the same thing. Okay. Good. So a little bit about myself. I started my career many years ago. Yes. And I started working in advertising agencies back in Portugal. I'm Portuguese, by the way. I worked at Avas, Worldwide, DTB, among others. So I work with big brands, Volkswagen, Pepsi, some big brands in Portugal, like supermarket chains and so on. After that, those 8 years working in advertising, I did a little break and I went back to school to do a master's degree in design and multimedia. And in there, I started to move more into UX. I worked at the UX boutique in Amsterdam, and I did a lot of work for Philips. I actually went to Seattle because of this client of Philips. We went there. After that, after working in agencies, let's say, I moved into product companies, which will be the startups of nowadays. Okay, you have Spotify is a product company. Okay, I call it like this. Meta is a product company. These are really big, okay, but you get the point. And I work in different fields. I worked in Amsterdam in a company called QB. It designed a smart thermostat. Okay, so not everything that we do is an app. Okay, you also have an app, but not everything we do is an app or website. In this case, it was the interface was very unique. It was a smart thermostat that you can touch and interact with. Okay. And then I moved here into Barcelona, and I came here to work in this company. It was called Let Go, okay? And it was a secondhand marketplace where people could buy and sell secondhand goods, let's call it like this, okay? To give you a little bit of context. In the United States, you have OfferUp. OfferUp actually bought Let Go, okay? It was in 2019, I guess, 2020. It was like right before the pandemic. It was acquired, okay, the United States one. So we just kept the one here that was very big in Turkey, okay, and that's where we start to tell a little bit about the story, yeah, that is coming. Questions so far? I'm a little bit under the weather, so forgive me. Every now and then I need to. Okay. Questions so far, everybody? Are you excited? Have you ever checked like a real case study, or not? Or you're just dealing with like your studies still? Has anybody saw any real project from another designer? What do you expect? Right, good. I see here. Excited to hear about MVPs. What is an MVP, by the way? Anybody knows? I see people typing, so I'm gonna wait a little bit. Minimal viable product. And what does that mean? Angela, nice to see you. Angela was my student at the foundation. What does it mean actually? Minimum viable product. In simple words. What do you think it is? There's no right or wrong, okay? Don't be shy. Launching with low complexity and building. A product with the minimum features necessary to work. Exactly. Okay. The bare minimum that can be released to the market. Exactly. To test an assumption. Okay. To test a business model, whatever it is. Okay. Perfect. Exactly that. So usually is also with in short time. Okay. At the end, I will tell you how long it took to build this. Okay. Important to know a little bit the context. Okay. Of this company. So as I told you before, Let Go was a company that already existed when I went to work there. Okay, it already had like brand identity, colors, design system. Okay, this will happen to a lot of you. So when you go work in a company, it already has everything. Okay, of course you can also work in an agency or in a startup from scratch, and you design these things from scratch. But most of the companies you will work at will already have this in place. Okay, just for that, just so that you know. Yeah, so as I was telling you before, Let Go was an app. It still exists in Turkey. Okay, but it was an app that allow people to buy and sell secondhand goods. Okay, a book you don't want, a piece of cloth you don't want, and people will also sell cars and motos. Okay, between themselves. Okay, it's called a C2C, customer to customer. Okay, they would sell things, and the app would just monetize from ads. Okay, this is very normal. A lot of products, and you see these for sure in free versions of a lot of apps and stuff. They have a lot of ads. Well, YouTube works with ads. Okay, so they monetize, they make money out of the ads. Okay, now Let Go was sold to OfferUp in the United States, and not really sure why we were really big in Turkey, okay, in the Turkish market. Yeah, it was very famous, very popular. I don't know if there's anybody here from Turkey, but I remember in the past meeting people from Turkey, and I'm a designer at Let Go, and they all knew Let Go. So it was really big there, okay? Now, let's kickstart. Okay, and this presentation that you see from now, all these slides, they were part of my presentation when I went to interviews. Okay, to talk a little bit, but I'll give you a little bit of the two worlds, otherwise you'll probably be a bit confused. Yeah, so now you have the context of this company, what they were doing. Okay, companies want to make money. That's it. Okay, and you as UX designers, you are the ambassador of the user. You have to bring in your user needs, but you also need to balance, and you have this, you learn this in Designlab. Okay, you also need to balance business needs and technical needs. Okay, sometimes, most of the times actually, you have requirements, constraints. All of these things need to be respected. Okay, it's a business, they need to make money. Okay, all right, good. So let's start. So what is this about? Introducing a new business proposition in the Turkish second-hand car market. Okay, so there was an opportunity, yeah, to launch a new business in the Turkish car market, and we did an MVP so that we can validate this. This new business proposition. Okay, this new business model. Yeah. So these decisions don't usually come up alone. It could be at some point, but they usually don't come up from the designer. Hey, let's do these research and start this business. Okay, there's a lot of people involved in these projects. Okay, MVP is not something that is worked out alone. Usually you have involved stakeholders, you have the CEO, like C-level. It depends, okay, on how the company is set up and so on, but usually you have strategy involved, marketing involved, okay, business. I mean, yeah, so think that these things are not isolated. You will never work isolated as a designer, and you always need to communicate with others, and you always need to bring in your expertise, okay, into the play, into the project that you are doing, okay. So this was all about introducing a new business proposition, okay, a new way of making money, basically using the product that you already have in the market, okay. So what happens? First, you need to give some context. This is for all case studies, okay? You should always give some context, okay? Why are we doing this, okay? If you go to an interview, why are you designing an app for people with diabetes? I don't know, okay? Whatever is the case, yeah? Always start by providing context. People don't know unless you tell them, okay? In this case, there was the business opportunity. There were some, well, strategy and business did a investigation, let's say, okay? People work together in companies, not isolated, okay? Of course that you know this. Turkey had a significant used car market, generating a lot of money, 120 billions, okay, yearly, larger than India and Indonesia in terms of transactions, okay. This is stuff that you might think, I don't want to know about this, I'm a designer. It's important that you know, okay. It helps you tell your case and the purpose of your work and the impact you have as a designer in a business. This is more valid for when you are a senior probably than a junior, but the sooner you start, the best, okay. You are always hired for the impact you have. Your skills, they are assumed you already have them because you are a UX designer, okay? So what do you bring to the table? Yeah, how can you help business sell or acquire more clients and so on and so on, okay? So have this in your brain, okay? It's not just doing screens, it's what do you bring to the table, okay. That's why it's important for you to know a little bit about this business and the context. Why are we doing things, okay. You need to know a little bit of everything, okay. This was 2020, okay, I believe. 1920, I think it was 20. Due to economical turbulences in Turkey, including a decrease in brand new car import and tax increase, it became much more difficult to buy first-hand car. Okay, as a result, the demand for second-hand cars increased. Okay, here's the business opportunity. Yeah, and you as a designer, you need to know this stuff as well. Okay, don't work blindly, just doing what people tell you to do. You need to comprehend what you're doing, so you also understand the impact you are having with your work, not only in your user's life but in the business. Okay, this is what will get you good jobs, okay, and good positions. Yeah. So, users' pain points. Yeah, I have to tell you that I don't speak Turkish, okay, and we did have a research person, okay, and she would take care of the research part of it, okay. Nevertheless, the communication was always ongoing, yeah, in English. This is a situation you can also face in the future in your companies. It can be that you do the research, it can be that you work with a UX researcher, it can be that you work with the agency that does the research for you, okay. All of this is totally fine and it's very normal. Nevertheless, you need to know what is the survey, what is the purpose, what are user interviews, what do you want to know, what is the goal, and so on, okay. So we knew users' pain points, and we conduct research. Okay, so these launching an MVP had a foundation. Okay, it was not just somebody saying, "Oh, I feel like I want to do this. Let's do." Well, some companies do this. Okay, if they have a lot of money, it depends a little bit how they work. But it shouldn't. Okay, that could be a very big waste of money. Okay, so you should always support this investment, because it's an investment. Okay, with research and with studies and so on, market studies and so on. Okay. So, according to the brand awareness report, second-hand car buyers in Turkey think that buying a car from dealership is costly, okay, due to the dealership commission, and there is too much effort needed to find the right dealership, and overall dealership are perceived as untrustworthy. So, people in Turkey feel like, first of all, yeah, the cars, new cars are very expensive. Second of all, they don't really like to buy in dealerships because they take a high commission, and they don't trust it so much. Okay. And when it comes to buying a second-hand car to individuals, they feel that is a long process, no, because you don't know the person. Yeah, they need to research. They need to be members of websites, a bunch of things that they need to do for them to avoid this commission in the dealerships. There's a lot of work, okay, for you to make sure that you're buying a car from another person and everything. It's okay. It's considered a burden of responsibility and a lonely process. Also, the more options there are, the more confusing is the process. Okay, so this is what we know. Okay, does it make sense so far that the company invests on launching something new here, according to these needs and according to the market state at the time? How do you feel about it? Do you feel like it's a good strategy to try something here? Is there actually an opportunity? Let me know in the chat. Or you feel like, I don't know about business. Let me know. I don't want to, I want to see like your level so I can go more or less in depth. I see somebody typing. Makes sense, right? There's an opportunity, okay? Just to give you context so you can understand everything. It's okay to not know a lot about business. What you need to know is the high level, okay? In here, this is very simple. I wrote this in this very simple way, okay? There's a study, a market study, that tells us that the market in Turkey, yeah, the cars are very expensive and so on. And then we decided to understand and to study a little bit users. And so this was a research study conducted, and to understand how they feel about it and what's going on, what are their pain points, just as the projects you are doing in the Designlab, okay? Good. Okay, so we have users' main pain points. So how might we help second-hand car buyers effortlessly buy a car? Because it's a struggle for them. We just noticed from the needs, right? It's a hassle. They have to go through a lot of things that they don't trust. Okay. What is this? How might we help second-hand car buyers effortlessly buy a car? Is a how might we, okay? It helps us frame a problem into a challenge, okay? This is the starting point for us to start working as a team, okay? On how can we do this, yeah? Now, this was a work done with more people, with the marketing department, with research, with strategy, as I told you before, okay? So I didn't do this alone, this initial part, okay? The research was done by the researcher. We're always having meetings, marketing team, and so on, okay? You will never, most likely, work alone, okay? Just have this in your mind. So what is our what do we promise to our users? Trust and convenience, because this is what they are lacking, okay? Full transparency, okay? We as a business, okay, we want to put ourselves into the market. So instead of people buying from dealerships or from another person, C2C, we let go business, we want to be providing a better facilitating this business, okay, by being the enabler of this transaction, okay. We will, our promise, provide full transparency, meaning every detail of the car is visible. How many times, I don't know if you ever bought like a second-hand car, but maybe people don't tell you what problems the car has, so they can sell it more expensive and so on. Okay, so our goal was to provide full transparency. Okay, show the reports, do an inspection. Okay, extended warranty, more than average. Exchange policy, 14 days that you can exchange your car for another one. Okay, so this was the part of marketing. Okay, that was also the part that we take into the experience. Yeah, this clear? So this is what we are promising to our user according to the needs. Notice that now I'm telling a story and attaching or going back to things. Okay, so I start with the problem, and then I frame as a challenge, and then I'm framing how the solution is going to be. Okay, good. So our goal now, to make you also a little bit clear, our goal is to be a business C to B to C. What does this mean? It means that the customer buys and sells from the business, and the business buys and sells to the customers. Okay, so it goes through Let Go. Instead of users buy the car from one another, Let Go is in the middle to provide trust. Okay, and to provide transparency. Okay, the goal for this MVP was to yes, we did this in 2020 at the end of the year. Our goal, the fiscal year ends in March, by the way. That's why our goal was, okay, we don't have any car. Yeah, we are not a business yet. We want to buy 100 cars, and we want to buy 100 cars. This is our goal, to kickstart. This is if we can do this, we can expand and continue to invest in this business. Okay, so this was our goal by the end of the year. Okay, fiscal year. That's right. Okay. Then we needed to start thinking about the seller. The seller, people that sell cars to us, because we didn't have any stock. Okay, so we needed to make sure that users knew that when they are selling a car, they can sell directly to us, so that we can buy and sell it to other users. Okay, is everybody following this? Give me a thumbs up if it makes sense so far. Okay, good. So the first thing we needed to do was to think, okay, we need to quickly start capturing attention from our users and buy their cars. Okay, so I organized a workshop with all the departments. Have in mind that this also has a physical component. Okay, it also has inspection centers. Cars need to be stored. You need brand for the place where the cars will be, and so on. Okay, it's really big thing. So you also have the offline part. Okay, the app is the online part that you can do this buying and selling, but then people need to go and see the car, they need to try it, they need to buy it, to sign papers, and so on. Okay, so it has this part as well. Call it service design. Okay, you have all of these things. So you have offline teams. Okay, you have inspectors, you have in the future you will have call center. Yeah, people need to they have doubts, they need to be answered to. You have marketing, you have a bunch of people, the engineers that will program these. Okay, and have in mind that this app already exists and it needs to be something fast. Okay, so I organized a workshop with a lot of departments, all of the people that were important, let's say, for decision making and so on. And we created a customer journey together, so that based on that, we can decide on certain things and start actually building things. Okay, the first thing I did, and I like to do when there's a lot of people working together from different departments, it's to do empathy mapping, because we didn't have any personas. Okay, we only had like the research findings, so I shared the research findings with everybody, and then we did the empathy mapping. Okay, if you never did the empathy mapping, this is the canvas for you to use. Okay, and it's just a tool for you to help everybody to put themselves in the user's shoes. In this case, the seller. I want to sell my car, right? It doesn't matter so much here, all of these details, I would say, but they want transparency of the process. They want to be trust where they are selling the car, that the car is good taken care, and so on. Okay, so everybody in the workshop was doing this together, and then everybody, as we resume and summarize, have the same idea of who the user is, who the seller is, and their needs, and so on. Okay. Then I divided everybody by groups because it could be very big, and we started doing user journeys. Okay. If you never did the user journey or user experience journey, customer journey, however you want to call it, it's the same. Okay. I recommend you to do one in your next project. If it makes sense, usually it does. Okay. A user journey helps us visualize the stages, the steps your user goes through to use your product or service. Okay. And it helps you understand opportunities, and it helps you to see what pain points there are, and therefore which things you need to have solved or which things you need to develop. Okay. In this case, user journeys are not like science, so you have certain rows that are usually there. What's the user goal? Which actions do they take? Touch points, and so on. But in this case, I also added here what is from all of these part of awareness. For example, like how do you get to know that Let Go Auto Plus is buying cars, for example? And there was a bunch of things here. What can we do in this stage? Okay, technically, yeah, you see this last row here was like, what can we do technically at this stage? Okay, that provides the minimum viable product. Okay, so you can adapt when you do workshops, and probably you will not do workshops as a junior, but this is something all designers should be comfortable with at some point. Okay, because we have a lot of information from different departments, and we need to align a lot of things as well. Okay. Product managers also conduct these workshops. You can do together. It depends a little bit on the setting of your company. Okay, so all together, and everybody from different departments, we understood, okay, what was happening in the awareness. Okay, how do they know about Let Go Auto Plus, for example? Oh, they hear a commercial. It's MVP. We are not investing in marketing. Oh, then we need to do something in the app that catches the attention of people that are selling their car. Yeah, this is how it helps us to take decisions and check opportunities, and so on. Okay, then discovery, how do they book an inspection for their car, and so on. Okay, so these were all the stages that I needed as a designer. I was the only designer. Okay, that I needed as a designer to know, so I can design the flow, and then the developers need to know so they can enable the technical part. Okay, there's a lot of people that needs to start working at the same time. Okay, then we had some doubts, so we take the user journey into the C-level, into the bosses, let's say, because we needed to create some decisions, and this many times has to do with the budget or resources. Okay, maybe you don't have enough developers to develop a certain thing. Okay, or maybe we don't have all the answers we need. Okay, so it's okay to take things into meetings to discuss them. Okay, never work blindly without understanding what you're doing or with doubts. Okay, so talk with whoever you need to talk, set up meetings and workshops as long as they have a purpose, a goal. Okay, it's important. Yeah, so we took this to the leadership and we decided, okay, yeah, you see how organized this has been. The workshop, everybody is aligned, everybody has the same sense of the user, and then everybody knows that this is the journey we were seeing before, and everybody knows what they have to prepare in their own work. My work was this, to do the flow, the screens, okay, so that developers could also start developing. Okay, if we have the time, I will zoom in a little bit I was searching for the Figma file. I have it. Maybe it's not 100% complete, but I will give you a sneak peek, okay, into it. But basically, You see here, I translated the user journey. Maybe this is very small, but this says awareness. Okay, so this, remember, it was the first stage of the user journey, and the only thing we have here, okay, it's a call to it's an entry point, okay, where the user can start this flow in the in this page. You don't see it very well, but I will share the Figma later. Okay, so we are not investing in advertising anything, so this is the minimum thing we can do for now. Okay, and then this is how it would develop, and this is just a flow for you to sell your car. Okay, to book an inspection to go with your car. And you see already here a lot of screens. An app has hundreds of screens. Okay, so it's important to stay organized. Yeah. Then you see here, you also have non-digital parts. Booking an inspection, you have a operator, somebody in the call center that needs to coordinate when the car can go, and so on and so on. Okay, then you have what's going on the inspection center, that the person gets there with the car. You have the seller or the buyer from our side, no, like the seller from our dealership. There are like confirmation emails being sent, a bunch of stuff are happening. Okay, this is high fidelity. Okay, Angela, because this already existed, this product. Yeah, so if you sketch something on paper to think about it, you have all the design system done, there's no point on doing mid fidelity here. This will depend. Okay, also has to do with the time that you have. Okay, I will tell you how long it took us to launch this from the beginning. So workshops, designing and developing and launching, I will tell you, okay, at the end, or you give me a guess. So you see here, like, so this is high fidelity because it was just reusing components of the app. Okay, so you don't really need to, it was short time. You will take these decisions when you face these projects. Okay, so this was the flow. Okay, and of everything that was happening and all the things that needed to be done. Then you can start with developers having meetings to for them to start working with things. Okay, before they start working with things, we also, well, more or less at the same time. Okay, there were some things they started to do already. We did a usability test. Okay, from this first flow. Let's see if you can see it here. This will be in Turkish, I believe. So what we learned is that users would expect a personalized let go contact. Okay, so they could trust. Okay, everything makes sense. Users needed a step-by-step walkthrough from initial offer to sale. Okay, from their car. What was happening is that you see here a lot of check boxes. There's a lot of legal things and a lot of things involved. Okay, sometimes it feels like things are really simple, and they are not, because there are technical constraints, there are legal stuff we need to add, there's this, there's that. We have to manage a lot of things. Okay, but going back to this, users don't trust dealerships, so Letgo is expected to show ownership of the inspection process. Okay, so they expect Letgo to have their own inspection centers. Users like our business model, perceive they will get a fair price from a trustable company. They value not having to deal with strangers, so we are fulfilling our user needs, just as we saw in the beginning, right? Especially female users, yeah, they appreciate this even more. Participants expect the initial offer to vary after inspection. So how does this work? The flow, just to give you a little bit of understanding. You would go to the app and you would add, I don't know if you saw it here, this is the entry point. So you go to the cars, and then in here it says, this was the first prototype. It would say if they were interested in selling their car to us instead of posting to sell to everybody. Okay, and this is a lot of things that at the end we didn't have this. Okay, but this was the first prototype. And then they just add through these lists, and this was like using a third party API for development, where they get all of this stuff. And the model, you can add the model of your car, and we can give already initial quote, and then with this initial quote they can call us, or they can request for us to call them. I think it was like that. to book an inspection. Okay, that was it. This is how we started to think that we can start buying cars, okay, from the users. Yeah. So we did some adjustments based on that. Okay, here you see the updated flow. Yeah, and basically for this MVP launch, we personalized the experience by having a customer care agency following up the initial offer. Okay, so they would call, and then so it would make it more personal. We polished our copies to manage our users' expectations when it comes to the process and what to expect. So what is going to happen, because this was all new for them, including an email after the initial quote. We position Let Go Auto Plus as a professional service with their own professional inspectors and own inspection centers. So very important to be clear and to set up ourselves as trustworthy, professional, and so on, so people will start selling their cars to us. Okay, so this is sorry, the updated version, and this is what we launch. Okay, everybody understands the business and what we did so far? So this was just using components that already existed. Okay, I was just putting things together. Okay, and the process of starting, thinking together, the user journey. Okay, prototype testing, iterating, and okay, now it was time to launch. And when I say launch, it's like everything is coded and it's there. People can access and they can start selling their cars to us. So how long did you think this lasts? This was the MVP, okay? To start, we wanted to align ourselves and to start buying cars from people, okay? How long do you think it took us to launch from the idea to launch this to the public? So we started to buy our first cars. 6 to 8 months. No. 1 month. No. 6 months. No. 3 months. No. 8 weeks. No. 1.5 years. No. That's not an MVP, huh? That's waterfall. It was 2 weeks. We did this in 2 weeks. Okay. So you see, it's like MVP cannot take 8 months or a year. Then it's a lot of money. Okay, MVP is something that you need to do very fast to validate an idea. Okay, we had an idea, organizing workshops, aligning everybody. Okay, everybody's together. There was a team. I was the only designer. There was a team of developers just for that. I was working very close with them and with the marketing team and with the product manager. Everybody was very aligned. We work agile, okay, with very mature, it was seniors, okay, very mature team. These took 2 weeks, okay. No, not the research, okay. 2 weeks from the moment we did the workshops until we have it developed, okay. Yeah, just this first part, okay. Let's say sprint, okay. No, that's part no, okay. So, but this is how it goes, because the investors are in your company. They want to validate an idea, an hypothesis. Is this going to work? Does it make sense? So you cannot be 1 year spending a lot of money in developers and without launching and see if it works or not, okay. So at the same time, there was also the offlining. So we launched it because we cannot sell cars without having cars ourselves. On the field in Turkey, we started to buy or rent, I think, a place so you can have the cars. The marketing team started to work on the branding. You see here, Let's Go, and the colors and all of this stuff, because we wanted to have the cars there, okay? So think about the enormous human effort that was put together to make this happen, okay? It was very nice, actually. So once we started having like the being able to buy cars, okay, and I remember at the time I suggested, okay, if we buy a car, let's have it in our Slack channel, because we have a Slack channel just for this business, and it was super fun to have like our sales guy. We just bought one, or we just bought two today, or it was very, very exciting. Okay, being part of something like this. For the buyer, it was the same. It was the same process. Okay, so again, you have to be very practical and to think about this stuff very holistic when you start. First, what do we need to do? We need to buy cars. Okay, so let's build the flow for the seller, the user. We buy from them. Then this is launch. Okay, let's start buying cars and have them in our inspection centers, and then let's prepare for the buyers, so for the people that wants to buy cars from us. Exactly the same thing as before. So workshop with all the team. Like, now let's think about the buyer. If you want to buy a car, let's put ourselves in our user's shoes. Then let's think about the flow they go through. Exactly the same setup as before. Okay, in here you even see like some of the people. This is me, actually. I had much longer hair back in the days. Yeah, exactly the same process. And just to think, okay, how are going the buyers to buy from us? What do they expect? What are their needs, and so on. Okay. Then in here we needed to start catching attention from our users. No, like, how do they know that we are selling cars? Remember, we didn't invest in marketing or advertising at all. Okay, so it's very hard to launch business like this. So we started by thinking about entry points into the app itself. Okay, so for example, in here we play out with having different entry points. This banner is an entry point, and it just says to sell your car, to buy your car. Okay, and all of these things are being measured. Everything that you do, usually it's measured. Okay, if we put something here, this banner, okay, how many people are clicking? How many people that click actually post a car or get a quote? Okay, or how many people actually click to view our cars and request a call? Okay, all of this is being measured. Yeah, so there was these different entry points in here. Maybe this is a little bit small for you, but it says here on green the impact. Okay, this banner was the banner with most success. Okay, why? Because it's the first thing the user sees when they land in the page. It's not mixed with all the ads and all the colors and all the things that are going on. Remember, this app still continued to be a second-hand marketplace where people would buy and sell things. Okay, so in here, just say that this banner brought in 150% calls, more from before it was introduced. Okay, plus 104% messages. Okay, so it was increasing a lot of things. These are like the screens of the car that is being sold. Okay, they had like this special label here, and they have this highlight with our benefits. You could see the parts of the car that were damaged or they changed or have whatever they had going on. All of these for the transparency. Okay, and at the same time, we want to buy your car as well. Okay, we sell these, but we want to buy. So this is also something that we were measuring. Other ways of having the users going through our flow, okay, into our buying and selling the car. Also, this was another thing we tried in the home page, to have this special Let Go Auto Plus banner here. Okay, it also increased a little bit. Then we also, in the listings of the car, we had like a section at the end with more cars from us. It also increased a little bit. Okay, so all of these things is things that you will measure and that you will do as well. So when you are designing something, and have you ever heard of A/B testing? A/B testing is very normal. Okay, you have a base. Okay, so you have, for example, YouTube. YouTube is always showing us different banners for you to subscribe to their monthly subscription. No, sometimes it's a pop-up, sometimes it's a full banner. Yeah, this is them testing which works best. Okay, you will probably do this as well. Yeah, so these options that you were seeing here before, they were all tested. Okay, what works best is this banner, this banner, this banner. Okay, and then we just opt by having the one that works the best. In this case, it was this one. Okay. um then in here another entry point, okay, specifically auto plus cars, okay, as a category alongside the other categories that already existed. Of course, you don't know the app, so for you, you don't have a way of comparison, but just trust my word. Okay, so this also increased a lot of the visits, 7% of visits more, 11% of calls more, and this is not 100 users. Okay, they're very I don't know by heart now the number of users, but a lot. Okay, a lot of users. Okay, so maybe 7%, it feels like that's so little, but maybe it's like 50,000 people. Okay, users. Yeah. So this was another entry point where you can go into like the buy, sell car, and so on and so on. And as we see here, it also increased it. Okay. Does design suggest A/B designs or product manager? Ideally, you work together. We can talk a little bit about that. Okay. Because I see sometimes designer. Well, we talk a little bit about that in a minute. Okay. So this more or less, I know that might not be super straightforward because maybe you don't have enough context, but this is how it's a case study, like the show and tell of the case study, more or less, alongside of explaining a little bit how things were and how does it work for us, the designers, and so on. The business continued to grow, okay, and to expand. Transparency was one of the core benefits, and we were, as it was already online, okay, we were already doing business, and we continue always to improve things, okay, and to measure and to see what was working, not working, okay, what was understanding. I understand you already know this. Design never ends, okay. We started by allowing people to book appointments online, so we can cut on the customer care, on the customer call center, okay, because that's very expensive. We started having different locations where we were selling the cars, okay, so it actually expanded a lot, and they made a lot of money. In the meanwhile, I left the company and so on. Expanded so much and it grew so much that it got acquired, which is the dream of any investor. Okay, so that's it. I don't think it's called Let Go Auto Plus anymore, or if it is, the owners like we, which was OLX, OLX. I'm gonna write it here because I made my pronunciation. OLX was the owner of us. Okay, it just got sold. Okay, because it became super strong and very big, and the competitor, our main competitor, bought us. Okay, I was not there at the time, but the business grew very well. Okay, just so that you know. Uh, Good. So let's see the questions that we have here. Okay. Again, I hope this was more or less for you to understand how it works. Okay. The time that you main idea, you work with a lot of people. Okay. And you have to coordinate a lot of things, and you need a lot of answers for you to do your work well. I have here the same thing as you have in your reflection, in your projects. Biggest challenge for me here. Sorry about the spelling. Building a new business completely remote with teams operating online and offline. It was tough, okay, and different cultures as well, okay, and the way of interpreting things, okay. And remember, I was organizing all these workshops, okay? Align different departments and take decisions together. Sometimes it was not easy, okay? I'm a very fast thinker and like actionable person, and it was sometimes a bit hard to manage decisions and so on, but causing the awareness internally of thinking holistically, okay, like of a business that has an online and offline experience. So everybody in their wanted to just think about their own department, okay, the things that they needed to do, okay, without having the thinking that it's a complete service that users experience. Okay, it's not about marketing, it's not about the seller in the inspection center, it's about the entire experience. So I was always doing this work of things need to be coordinated. Okay, like it's not just it starts on the app but then it goes to the call. What are they saying? What is the script? What's the follow-up? Okay, all of this needs to be thought of. Making sure everybody was aligned at the same times, and this includes developers, okay, all of these things, coordinating work, making sure things were being okay. Not being able to get users feedback, that for me was a big problem, okay, because of some legal stuff in Turkey. You cannot really reach people directly. So the people that are our clients that use the app or that they bought a car, you cannot actually ask them for feedback, something legal. Not being close to the users, understanding the language for me was a bit frustrating because I had to rely always on others. Okay, this was like personally. Good, let's go to Q&A. We have a few minutes. Does design suggest the A-B designs? Okay, then I will go to the questions one. Well, A and B can be both, okay? A product manager is not your boss, okay? This is very important. I think sometimes there's this idea that product managers or product owners are the boss of designers. This is wrong. You are both in the product team, designers and managers and product managers, okay? You work together. I always work together with the project managers. They don't boss you, you don't boss them. You collaborate, okay? So, for example, it might be that you have the planning of the quarter. It's to well, we need to solve problem A. Okay, you sit with the product manager. Okay, we have this to do, this and that. Okay, cool. How do we tackle? Okay, maybe this one could be straightforward. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Sketching. Okay, to all my mentees, I always say sketch on paper, because this is an important communication tool when you're talking with others. It could be that at some point, at some projects or some problems you need to solve, you do ideation sessions. I used to do a lot of ideation sessions with developers, customer care, and so on. It really depends on what you're tackling. But basically, you work together. It can be that your product manager says, okay, we have this. What do you think about if we solve it this way or that way? And maybe it's okay. Maybe you agree and say, yeah, I'm going to do that. I think it's good. But it could also be that say, no, that doesn't work. What about this or that? Or it can be that your project manager just say, well, it's on your hands. Okay. It depends. You have to communicate. Okay. They don't tell you what to do. You don't tell them what to do. You work together and you decide together. Okay. Is this clear? You have a seat at the product team as well. Okay. Just so that you know. I hope this was clear, ML. Yeah, and it could be that the AB designs, it's A, B, C, D. You can have more than 2 versions, okay? No worries about that. Let me see here more questions. In a 2-week turnaround for the MVP, what is the breakdown for design time versus engineering time? How much design time before handing off? It's a little bit at the same time, huh? Are you flowing the designs as they are getting completed? Thanks. So, as I was telling you before, all of the things that I used already existed, okay? They were components that already existed, yeah? When you work in a team and you are embedded in a team, you have frequent meetings, you have daily stand-ups, you have refinements and so on, okay? In a project like this, you work very closely, okay? Maybe there was one day or 2 days that I was doing the screens, okay? I don't remember, to be honest, because it was a bit of a while ago. But knowing myself, probably it was the workshops, and then I started doing like 1-2 days, maybe, 1-2 days for the screens. And at the same time, the guys started to prepare the back end on their side. Back end doesn't need front end. They don't need screens, okay? As long as they were in the customer experience. They know what is needed. Okay, it's discussed it. We have meetings, so they probably I think they started by starting to call this API with all the brands and the models of the cars and so on. So they would start on the back end. Okay, and again, this is all people that are like seniors, so it's very coordinated and it's very possible to do this all together. Okay, so when I was doing all the screens, we all knew what we have to do and how it was going to work. They started doing the back end, a lot of meetings to decide stuff, and that was it pretty much. Sure, Yadi. Any other questions that you might have? By the way, um, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Instagram, okay, while you think about other questions. Yeah. Also, I have a YouTube channel where I explain like very simple stuff, how to use the pen tool, how to use grids, okay, and all of this stuff. Yeah. Let me know if you have any other questions. Okay, feel free to check these. Okay, could be helpful, especially if you are starting. Yeah. All right, was this helpful to understand a little bit, or it was a bit too much because you are just starting? Just to have a sense if this is interesting or not, if it's too much. Was good to understand a little bit a real project? Good, perfect. I'm happy then. I could, yeah, because it's too, we don't have so much time now. I had my Figma open. I can, if you want to quickly show you a little bit, okay? For example, yeah, it was a bit hard to read. Yeah, I know that. That's why I had here my Figma open just in case, okay? But just know that there are screens, okay? It's not so much about the designs. Again, this was just components, okay? With the selecting stuff, very simple, yeah? It's too slow. Okay, but you see here, for example, very simple. Okay, in here, entry points. Yeah, you have here the screens that already exist. Then you would go to this pop-up, for example. Okay, just to give you a little bit of understanding. Yeah. Then you have we just saw this in the prototype. Okay, these are components that already existed. Okay, nothing new here, just putting things together. Okay, it was more like, okay, we need to be clear, we need to make sure that users have all the information they need, that it's simple. Okay, and then integrating here like the cars, the brands, okay, the models, all of this stuff that came from the APIs I was telling you. It's just a database. Yeah. Okay, just for you to see a little bit. Yeah, hope it helps, but nothing spectacular with the screens. Okay, it was more like for people, again, to get a quote on their car, to fill in details, to search for models. Okay, and this is our screens like the ones you do as well. Okay. How often it will be MVP? Well, in the 2.5 years I work in this company, this was the only MVP that we did. Okay, so most likely you will be working just in your product, in improving things. Okay, every 2 weeks, a sprint. In every sprint, you improve something, and this something that you improve has to do with the quarter goals. Okay, what is it that you are focusing on? And all these quarter goals are also answering to the company goals. Okay, all of this is linked, and maybe, for example, the goal of the quarter is to increase the NPS by 2 points or whatever, then you have to do stuff for that. Or maybe you pick up customer care problems that you notice and you improve that. So you improve user satisfaction and so on. Okay. MVPs don't happen often, okay? It's only when you want to validate something quickly, usually an idea, okay? A lot of startups start like this, a lot of business start like this. They do the minimum possible, yeah? And they test and then they build on that. So then they become a product that is more stable, and then you just continue to improve it, launch new things, and so on, okay? Good. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming. I hope this gives you a little bit of a light of what's coming for you. And you probably will not do these type of things as soon as you start, but it's possible as you grow in your career, okay? The data-driven design course, I don't know. I don't know, maybe. I saw something about it. It's new. All right, cool. All right. Good luck, everybody. Keep strong. UX is very nice, and we do have an impact. Okay. So believe in yourselves. Yeah. See you next time. Bye bye.